punt down inside the 10-yard line. And then the coverage team does a fairly decent job. That looks like Travis Brown
on
down.
That tackle does a good job for us on the punt unit. He's back up tight end. You'll see again, we won the field position battle, and we thought that was crucial at the beginning of the game. Back up tailback in, Danny Williams comes in and makes a tackle. Now they're going to have to go back to their passing game. They have a little bit longer yardage to go to and hit a ball down the middle, which I hate to see in our two deep zone. Our safeties, the two Bailey brothers, just weren't able to get over there. Counterplay, Mike Sitz, who plays a little bit for us in the defensive line, comes in and snuffs that out. Then you'll see a give to the fullback coming here on the inside. Now, Doane's starting to establish a little bit of something. This is the first drive of the second quarter. We just switched. Again, we're up 6-zip. But again, our kids did a good job of staying home and not over-pursuing Sean Lorenzano on that play. Doane punts the football and gets it out of bounds just inside the 20.
Okay, now things are starting to move a little bit. We're running the G option here. We come 17. Josh Miller makes a good read, ducks it up inside to get some good yardage. Now we run what we call a play-action pass called 47 jet go, and they jump into a cover two, and we've got Josh Bartley alone running down the middle. And he's a load once he's got the ball in his hands there. Come back running ISO with Travis Susi, again for good yardage as he works through a pretty good hole in the offensive line. Now we work the jet pass. There's nothing there on that side, so Miller decides to take it himself. Gets a good block from Borcher, makes a nice move, and is able to barrel into the end zone for the score. That was really big because it put us up 2 scores on Doane. And, you know, like Coach L said, we felt we really needed to jump on them, and at this point we really are. Now we go for 2, and what we do is we jump into an unusual set for us. It's a no-back set, and we try to jam it into Mark on the slant route. The defender does a pretty good job getting inside of him and preventing the play.
Nice to have a 12-0 lead here. We needed to have a good defensive series. Ryan Carlson just misses the end zone. The ball just goes out of bounds, so Doane ends up taking over on the 35-yard line. And you'll see now they go to their one-back shotgun set to have to throw the football. But you see very good coverage by Josh Reynolds and Ryan Carr on third down, forcing Doane to punt. And again, decent field position for our offense. We don't quite get to the wall. Jeremy's not quite getting to the wall, so we're going to change that a little bit, see if we can get him there on the punt return.
Run just a quick little one-step play here we call quick. Hit Brad Levine, the inside receiver. And Brad made some tough catches in there for some tough yardage on the day. Now this is 52 curl, and we got Josh dropping back. Mark makes a heck of a catch there. The throw wasn't really on target. He had to get up and jump off to the side and make a good catch there for a first down, I believe. Okay, now we're going to come back and we're going to run G option. This is a play that we'll usually check, and you can see Josh doing that there at the line, meaning he's going to tell the offense which way we're going to take the play. He's coming this way, gets a pretty good block from Davrick Isaac and John Morris there, able to get in and get a few yards. Okay, we get Doane into a cover 2 again, which is something we didn't expect a lot of. Josh makes a great read there as we run what we're calling a double post and is able to hit Brad Levine, who makes a move on the defender and gets into the end zone. Guys getting pretty excited. We're up 3 scores now. That's good to see.
Tell you what, it really was. And I think we were a little bit surprised, too, at the ease we were able to move the football and Doane's tough defense. A lot of it is through the air. They really had trouble adjusting to some of the things that we were doing offensively. Whenever we got them into a 2-deep zone, we were going up over the top trying to get the 2 vertical routes on the 1 safety. You'll see how we threw one inside to Josh Bartley a little while ago, and then here we hit Brad Levine on the outside. So, I mean, we were able to continue to mix things up. This kickoff went into the end zone for a touchback. Good job by Ryan getting the ball down and letting it run. Pass play now. Andrew Doty, off the play-action pass, does a good job dropping to his zone. Probably should have had the interception, but the ball just comes out of his hands. You're going to see a counterplay that I alluded to a little bit earlier. We had a little bit of trouble with this, and up in the box it took me 3 times to finally figure out how they were blocking it. They changed it from how they were blocking it before, and it took us a while to adjust to it. I didn't do a very good job there. Very, very good coverage on this one. The quarterback is forced to throw the ball out of bounds to preserve the sack, and good coverage by our secondary and our linebackers. They're going to come back to the counter on the right side of the screen, and you'll get a little glimpse of Ramon Adams again. He bounces this ball to the outside, and he does have nice speed to get around the corner and get a little bit of yards where there really wasn't anything to start with.
Okay, back on offense. You see we're running the trap play here, and we get a really nice trap block out of our left guard, Davrick Isaac. Their tackles were coming upfield, and we were able to get that later in the game as well. Another quick route to Brad Levine there for some yardage also. Now we run the short sprint, our 60 game, and there's really nothing going to that side, and Josh tries to ad-lib as he runs back and gets the ball punched out, and that's something that we're trying to avoid is those turnovers. Unfortunately, we weren't able to hang on there.
We talk a lot about sudden change on defense. All right, turnover. We got to go back out there and get our intensity level higher. Mike Sitzka does a good job of getting the quarterback on a sack. Then they run a little zone play to their fullback, again, trying to cut it back, and a lot of Broncos are around there. We call timeout. That was third down. Now they have to punt, and Coach, a little under 2 minutes. Do you remember how much time was left?
Right about 2 minutes.
A little under 2 minutes here, and so we call timeout to get the ball back to our offense and see if we can go into the 2-minute drill. Again, we're up 18-zip right here, but we're thinking if we could get one more score, that'd probably be the ball game.
And this was really a big drive. We start out here, and we're going to run ISO to Travis Stussy. And like Coach said, we want to get into our 2-minute drill, and this is something that we practice about 3 or 4 times a week. You can see Josh there getting us lined up on the line quickly. Now we run a short sprint out. Throw the ball. Now everybody's got to hustle back into the huddle. We've got a first down. The clock is stopped. Everything's moving quickly now. All right, we signal in a play now, a fade route to Mark Borichter. Josh puts his own little touch on it here and calls the hitch and go, seeing the coverage. All right, he gives the pump fake. Now he puts it up. You're going to see an outstanding catch there by Mark Borichter and his athletic ability, which allows him to get his feet down inbounds for the score. That was a big one right before half.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the nail in the coffin for Doane, because right now they walked off the field after halftime. They walked back on. You'll see, there's halftime. They walked back on. They were completely demoralized at this time. So that was an awful good score for us right before the half. Of course, we don't think it's over. I mean, with a potent offense and a potent running back like Ramon Adams, you got to be careful. But we felt the first defensive and offensive series, if we could control those, the ball game would be over. We do go 3 and out. We do a very good job on the defensive end, but offensively not so.
Okay, well, this first drive we try a play that we wanted to see how it worked, 47 traps. That's the only time we tried it on the day. Now this is probably the worst thing that we could have imagined happening to start the half off. We miss a ball that hits off Mark's knee, bounces up into the hands of a Doane defender, and we really didn't want to give him any momentum there at that point.
Well, again, sudden change. We got the ball about on the 25-yard line or so. We need to do something defensively, and Mark Herbeck and others do a good job of stopping Ramon Adams. Again, we got 8 or 9 guys in the box here. We're going to stop their run and make them throw the football. We are going to give up some play. You'll see on the right side of your screen here a little hitch route. We need to do a better job once the ball is caught of minimizing the gain, and we don't do a very good job there. But any running play that they tried to run there, Jim Jones and Mark Herbeck do a very good job of shutting them down, making them throw. You're going to see good coverage by Danny Williams, 52 in the middle of the screen right there, had a chance for another pick, but they're just having trouble throwing the ball. This kicker here, this is one of his first of his 3 missed field goals. He was the all-conference kicker next year. We're very fortunate that he wasn't on target, but we did what we wanted to do. We kept him out of the end zone. We still have the 25-0 lead. We don't do much offensively. We have to punt the football. Ryan does a good job of getting the ball out of bounds, so there's absolutely no return. And now Doane's going to get a little bit of a drive going. You're going to see on the left side of your screen, again, a little 3-step pass. Reynolds does a better job of minimizing the game after the catch. You're going to see a great play by Ramon and their offensive line on the right side of your screen to run a counter play. We try to spill it with the defensive end, and we actually shouldn't have, so that's why he gets outside. He gets a good gain, but fortunately they were holding that defensive end, so it brought that play back. Toss play to the outside. Frank Jalbert does a very good job of coming inside and turning it in, and Phil Willie with great pursuit. Well, unfortunately, Frank Jalbert, the corner, went down on that play, and we had to put in our backup, Kevin O'Donnell. If you watch this play, it's going to bust on the left side of your screen, and Kevin's going to come unblocked from his corner position to be able to make the tackle there, and the guy just gets outside. And again, Kevin's going to be a heck of a player for us. It's just he's seeing things from Hastings High to Hastings College, and there's a huge difference, but he's going to be a good one for us. Counter trap, you're going to see some of the talent of their tailback and Phil Willie. Great pursuit to trap down Ramon Adams from the backside. That's something that they were getting good at. Doane had done to everybody all year, but we kept those gains to about 10 to 15 yards. Didn't give him the 80-yarder. Great play by Brad Bailey on the toss on 3rd down, which got him down to about a 10-yard loss. They bring back their field goal kicker for a long field goal, and Don Tomlinson in the middle gets his big paw up and knocks that ball down to block it, and we kind of thwarted another attack, and our defense is awful pleased with keeping points off the board.
We're going to come back this next series and run G option once again, and on most of the times that we ran this play, Josh Miller ends up keeping the ball. Josh was pretty sore on Sunday. He had a lot of carries, and Doane does have a physical defense. Speaking of being physical, here's a play where we run ISO, and Johnny Morris, who played a whale of a game, really comes in and puts it to their linebacker, knocked him to the ground completely. Now Johnny's going to carry the ball. We're running the trap, continuing to have some success with that play. We're looking to keep the ball on the ground to try and keep the clock moving a little bit. This here is dive option, a play that Coach Merck put in just for Doane this week. Had a little bit of success with it during the game. Three-step. Miller to Borker once again, and another great catch. The ball just slightly underthrown, but Mark goes up and just literally takes it away from the defender. That was the ninth touchdown catch of the year for Borker, which is a single-season record at Hastings College. Last year, he tied the record at 8, along with Terry Anstein.
2.
And now, with 2 in this game, he's up to 9, and he's got the record.
2 very good catches by Mark. And Mark didn't have the traditional Mark game. And Mark dropped 2 balls that he may have gotten long gains on. Then he dropped the one that we saw that was that ended up being an interception. So I know he's disappointed with his performance, but I tell you what, that kid's a playmaker for us, and he made up for it there in the second half. Who else? Justin Moorhead on the tackle for the kickoff. We've heard his name a lot. Going back to the cutback play to the fullback and our backside tackle, Sean Lorenzano gets him down. Bootleg, watch Jake Stutzman, wham, hit the quarterback. Their quarterback had to come out for a couple plays after that. Jake does a good job. Now they have their backup in, who hasn't thrown a pass all year, and steps back and completes his first one. I believe that kid's from Grand Island Northwest, Hudnall, and does a good job on the curl route to get them down and continue the drive alive. That was on third down. Draw play, Danny Williams snuffs it out. He's got to beat the tight end's down block, and Danny was very disciplined to stay home. We got a blitz called, get a little bit of pressure on the quarterback. Danny comes through 3. Don't do a very good job on man coverage. Now we're going to hit a curl pattern to the outside. Doane's doing a better job throwing the football, but again, as long as we don't give up the big play, we'll be fine. They end up getting first and goal on about the 5. We back them up 2 downs. I believe this was the third down play. Watch the defensive end on the left side of your screen. Mark Wemhoff come underneath the kick-out block and keep squeezing it down and tackle Ramon for no gain to force him into a short field goal situation, and Petticoat just pushes it to the right. I mean, that poor kid, he's a better kicker than that. You'll never see him miss 3 field goals, but except for Saturday, I guess.
This next series now, you'll see us keep the ball on the ground for a couple of reasons. One, we're starting to wear them down pretty good. And another, obviously, we've got a big lead now, and we want to keep the ball on the ground and keep the clock moving. You'll see 2 carries by John Morris here. He's a good, tough physical runner and does a good job. This ended up being our last defensive possession. We got the backups in, and our defensive end of that side has outside leverage, just can't keep up with Ramon Adams. Josh Reynolds finally gets him down. They're trying to get Ramon some yards. Todd Kelly on the zone play does a good job snuffing him out, and Doane has to punt again. We need one more drive out of the offense. We thought we'd have to go out there one more time, but as Coach will tell you here, we get a good opportunity to run out the clock, and our kids do that. So we're done on defense. We have some substitutes in now on offense also. Derek Rusher in at quarterback now. Season opening. He's just unable to keep his feet is all, or he may have broke a big one. This is Bo Benkowski in at tailback now. We run him on an ISO, and I think you're going to see the same thing again here, and he's just about one guy short of breaking it here. But the important thing was he got a first down, enabling us to call the play that we hope to call every game, and that's victory. Take a knee.
And there's your final score of the day, 32-0, and the Broncos get a great homecoming win on the day. Just a little side note, quarterback Josh Miller was awarded NAIA National Offensive Player of the Week, so a great honor for him. Now we go to our interview section of the show, and by popular demand, people wanted to hear more about our assistant coach, Pat McCauley. Let's take a look at the interview.
And I work at Hastings College, both as an assistant football coach and director of Hazel Ridge Student Union.
What are some of the major changes that you see at A.H. Jones Stadium when you look at it now compared to when you played?
Well, the nice thing about it is I really don't see any real major changes, and that's what's nice about it. I think one of the things that sets this stadium apart from some of the others we play in is the setting, and I'm talking about the bushes going around the stadium. Kind of gives it a real homey atmosphere to A.H. Jones Stadium.
So, when did you say you played here?
I played from 1981 to 84.
Okay. During the school year from 1981 to 1984, I was looking through the annuals, and I saw a picture of you and a couple of your pals for the intramural softball team. Could you explain a little bit about that and that photo?
Yeah, we used to have a good time participating in intramurals and other activities as well, away from the football team. Most of the friends that I had at Hastings College were involved with football, though not all of them were, and some of those friendships continue to this day.
Okay. As far as intramural softball, when did it start, and when was the last year that they had intramural softball here at Hastings?
Actually, it's still going on. A lot of the problems we have with it today is the weather. We try to play that in the spring. The last few seasons we've had awful rainy springs. Had a hard time running softball.
Well, as you walk across campus now, since you've been from a student to a player, now to a coach, and a student activities director, what are some of the changes that you've seen the campus make from 1981 to 1999?
I think there's several changes, mainly some of the new buildings that you see as you walk across campus. I know the addition of the Gray Center has been a real positive addition to the campus. I know the addition of the new computer lab, the Wilson Mathematics and Computer Building, has really been beneficial to the college. So those are the things that you notice right off. I know some of the things that you may not notice as a visitor or a visiting alum is also the size of the campus has grown some. Back when I attended Hastings College, the enrollment was probably around 850, and today it's grown to about 1,100. So those are some of the major differences that I noticed.
If you were to play this year's team against your team, who do you think will win the game and why?
I got to believe, based on the things that we've talked about, that today's athletes at Hastings College, man for man, are probably better. My bet would be on the 99 team.
What are some of the memories that you have about playing here at A.H. Jones Stadium? As you walk into your office, there's a picture of you catching the interception. Could you elaborate a little bit about that play?
I do remember that play. When you have as few interceptions as this DB did, you tend to remember them pretty well. We played Wayne State, and it was in 1983. And Wayne State at the time was still an NAIA school, although a very large one. And they came down to Hastings to play us on Saturday afternoon. And I think the play that you're talking about, they tried to run their tight end right down the seam, thinking that they could get past our safeties. And the quarterback underthrew the ball pretty well, and I was able to step in and pick it off.
What are some of the best games that you've seen here at A.H. Jones Stadium as a player or a coach? What, in your mind, stick out when you first think about the best game?
I can think of a few great games. The 98 Northwestern game here in the mud comes to mind right away. And not only was it a great game, but it stood for so much. It stood for the first undefeated season in many, many years, an outright conference championship, maintaining our number one ranking, not to mention the fact that we came from behind 14 points at halftime. So that was certainly one of the greater games that I've seen here.
Thanks for that. Assistant Coach Pat McCauley, a good look into the history of Hastings College football. Coach, let's look at some scores around the NIAC now.
Okay. NIAC Conference doing very well. Now we're starting to get in the heart of everything. You see us kind of leading everything. Northwestern is actually 3-0 in the conference, so we're tied with Northwestern for the conference lead. Doane and Midland each have one loss, and the nice thing about it is those four schools, Coach, except for Northwestern and Midland and us and Doane, they all got to play each other yet, so we all have 2 games with the other schools, so there's a lot of battling to go. Concordia had a big victory over Nebraska Wesleyan. Dana won a non-conference game last week. Wesleyan is struggling a little bit, but I'm sure they'll do a good job this week, and we play them right after we play Tabor. So it's very early. We're only halfway through the darn thing, but it's nice to be sitting there on top rather than at the other end of things.
Right. The Hastings College Broncos take on Tabor College this week. That's Saturday. Coach, why don't you talk about Tabor? You guys have a few guys out from little injuries, bumps and bruises. Tabor's a school that you beat last year pretty handily. Do you take the opportunity to get some guys in that don't get to play quite as often?
The approach we're taking to Tabor, first of all, and we're being honest with our kids, Tabor is a program that's rebuilding. They're starting anew. If I remember correctly, I think they're starting 17 freshmen, and they have a roster of about 47 kids. So just by manpower alone, it's a game we should win. But the thing we're focusing on this week, get yourself better at your positions. Get the things that we didn't do right against Doane or Concordia or whoever, we need to improve in that, especially special teams. We're not playing very well in the special teams, so that's crucial. And then if we get a chance to get some of our backups in, we need those kids to perform. We need a very good week out of those kids, so you'll see a lot of enthusiasm for them. Hey, it's still a varsity game. Well, I don't want to rest anybody unless they can't play. We're going to start the kids we always start. We're going to play as hard as we possibly can, and we're going to keep shoveling people in there and hopefully do well.
Okay, so the Broncos will take a break from conference play and take on Tabor this week. Thanks for joining us on the Coaches Show tonight for assistant coach Pat McCauley, head coach Ross Ells, and myself. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next week.